So these are some of my favourite set plays, strategies and just cool stuff that I saw in VCT Week 1 for NA and EU. If you think I missed any, let me know in the comments what I missed. Ryze are on the defense and are about to throw a recon dart over onto this position on B long. It's something that Derek has done consistently, and he will also double check if he doesn't get any information. But yeah, pay attention to the fact that Mav just put down an Astra Star over on the side of Fountain and watch what they do with it. They actually throw it down as a nebula to not get hit by the recon dart, at least for the first couple of pulses, because Victor wants to close that distance to catch Derek out. He knows that Derek is going to try and push to double check to see if there's any more going on down there, or in this particular case, trying to get the orb on B long. And Victor takes him completely by surprise. A lovely set play. Another one from EMEA, London United versus Na'Vi. London United throw a lot of utility over towards market, knowing that that's where SSK is with the operator. The recon dart, a breach flash, they even throw in a Nova Pulse into the cubby corner of market. But this is the cool combo. The flash comes in, SSK still gets a kill. But whilst all of this is going on, you'll notice the Dreamas on the chambers throwing in a little trademark on this corner. The trademark's going to catch Juno and slow the area that he stood in. It's also good information for London United to know that there's somebody still there. So Destrian on the breach actually uses the aftershock. Juno can't peek in any wider because he's going to get caught by where Dreamas is on the chamber, but he can't go any further back without taking damage. So he just has to surrender himself to the aftershock, and it's a nice little synergy, especially on the attack that you don't see all that often. This was a really good execute by version 1. Straight away you can see that the recon dart is used to check anywhere close. The recon dart even sees that there's a turret there, so the rest of V1 know that the killjoy is going to be around the site. This item gets thrown, it gets the front speedway part of the B site and also the back stairs. It catches the killjoy, which means it's go time for Benny as that turret has gone down. This is a typical dash smoke into an execute from Penny, but I like the fact that he even checks the little cubby over on wood, and he spots where Ban is. He also knows that he's not jumping into danger by jumping into a molly, for example, from Killjoy, because the Killjoy is suppressed. Then he gets that information, he calls it out, and he even closes the door over on market. Whippy finds some good time in here to catch onto Ban, who is pretty much screwed at this point. You also see the fragment in the top corner. If anybody tries to sneak through market, through that smoke, they're pretty much dead meat. And you even have a molly front back of CT, so there's no way that Knights could even get into the site. They've isolated this Killjoy, but this is the best part. Penny does an updraft, but of course because he's under the boathouse roof, he just bangs his head and comes straight back down. But that audio cue actually does get the attention of the Killjoy, who looks up to see if the jet is dashed over the top. In fact, Frosty is completely frazzled by this play. He's constantly looking around him to see if there's anybody there, and Penny punishes. This has to be one of the cleanest executes I think I've seen across all of VCT. This one's a short one, but it comes in from the World Champions Ascend. It's a nice little bit of tech that I've seen a little bit more from Jet plays, certainly when it comes to that combination with KOs on this map. We used to see in a lot of flash and dash plays with the Jet dashing in, being flashed from a breach or a sky, those kind of things. But this setup from Cena dashing up, dashing through the smoke, so he's not really that visible to anybody over on arches. You can see that the KO flash is about to cook and it's about to explode, but Cena manages to turn away in an instant. Like literally, you have to slow this down to see the impact of how Cena can move around this. He's able to get the shots in on his target. Like the timing and synergy of this is just so good and fun to watch. NRG are on the attack, and you can already see that Android and Haze are making their way to A. They've actually got into sewers, but this doesn't stop NRG from throwing in a nice bait execute to C. This lineup for KO actually gets to the back boxes as I'm showing you, but all of the utility, including an Astra Ultimate, gets dedicated to this C-long execute. It's something that Sentinels have to respect. You can see that they're checking mid just in case that they're going to get flanked, but all of this space, it forces this aggression, this rotate. You even have these two NRG players staying around on C-long just to sell it a little bit more. So much space for Haze and the rest of NRG to take on the A site, and they can set themselves up nicely from there. This is another frankly absurd round from Na'Vi. London United have two operators on their defense. They have the Tour de Force over on A and the Jet over on B with the normal op. Not only that, Na'Vi are in a 4 versus 5 and they lost JD, so they don't have that entry, those flashes. They're going to struggle to get past operators. But here in step Stinks. He actually throws down the turret knowing that Dreamas or an operator is likely to be on this angle. Dreamas, clearly a bit thrown off by this, tries to take a shot, neither kills the turret nor really catches onto anybody that's peeking at the same time, which is likely what he was hoping to do, so it's not like he completely missed his shot. He was pre-aiming to see if anybody would peek behind it. He is a little bit frazzled though. He completely teleports out, gives up that angle, and allows space for Na'Vi with this Cosmic Divide to go onto the execute. But here's another great thing. 2 versus 2. And SSK goes in for the updraft peek, Dinks is allowed to peek off of it, and it's just so good. Like, this Na'Vi team looks ridiculous, and I'm excited to see more of them this week. Another one for version 1, this is a nice little late lurk from Xander. He's up in kitchen, and he typically knows that there's going to be a killjoy turret set here. It's a very default spot to put this utility, so he's just happy to sort of wait it out. He's going to hear stuff around him, and whilst he's got a nice position to leverage, the rest of the team decide to execute on A. Straightforward stuff, it pulls all of Pittsburgh Knights, but it also makes Frosty return his killjoy turret, which allows Xander to go on this lurk. The best part's still to come. He gets this first kill, he finds himself in another duel, but the rest of version 1 actually go down on the site. It's a bit of a problem, ends in a 1v1, but Xander, as good as he is, still knows that there's a bit of a lineup that he can use to throw a snakebite on the default, which actually throws Gangster off from dedicated to the full defuse. Xander jumps to the low ground, it's something that Gangster clearly wasn't expecting, and it's a nice 1v1 clutch and just a beautiful lurk to see him dedicate to, which required a lot of patience. Fnatic vs G2, an absolute classic, and I like this read from Fnatic to know what keloqz likes to do. We've already mentioned a couple of times where Jet has smoked and dashed in onto a site to execute, certainly on Ascent, and keloqz is no different when it comes to the A site. Mystic knows this. Not only has he put a smoke over on the Jenny to act as a bit of a one-way, but he's also playing off the Jenny because he knows that keloqz is about to dash into him. keloqz is pretty unsuspecting. Like I said, he probably sees the smoke as a bit of a one-way, so he's just sort of sprayed to see if there's anybody around it. The Eldron goes in. The 0 point would catch Mystic here, but because the 0 point also catches players in tree, it's not really that much information for keloqz to work on, and he's a little bit surprised that Mystic is here. Mystic does take a bit of damage, and he has the support Magnum to help, but because it's G2, they always find a way onto the site. Here in steps Brave. This is one play that I definitely wanted to highlight because this is some cool, smart stuff from him. Sprays through on the cross. He knows that the door's still open. He hears it being closed, knows that there's going to be a player around that switch position, and just has the perfect wallbang to catch onto Meadow. Not only that, he brings out the Hunter's Fury, tries to get the player that's planting the spike in that moment, and takes out a pretty weak Nukier. Now this round is going to look a little bit papige, I think, for London United on their losing round of Ascent, but I think that this is a really good read and counterplay that comes in from Na'Vi. They're expecting an A hit. Not only do we see JD use this 0 point, but also they're very much clocking the fact that Boo has his Cosmic Divide ready, which tends to mean more often that it's going to be an A split coming through tree. Na'Vi's expecting this, and JD throws in the 0 point, gets that information that Sova was suppressed, but as soon as that Cosmic Divide comes in, he actually uses his ultimate. Why? Because he knows that there's going to be players coming in from tree, and look at this setup from the Killjoy in this position too. As soon as that Cosmic Divide comes in, both nanoswarms are activated, a fragment's thrown in, and nobody from London United can actually get through to this spot. Not only that, you have SSK up on this sort of boost to check, he either gets a free kill and opening. Just like that, London United has started to run slower and slower on time. The stall here is insane, and even Na'Vi dedicate the lockdown to make things much harder for London. They know that London like to execute late, that they want to try and sort of set themselves up nicely. A defensive Cosmic Divide's thrown in, and Dreamass wants to play on this angle. I don't know what he was thinking here. You sort of see the reaction from Hypok and Pansy. Maybe he thought that he had his rendezvous that he could get out, and Na'Vi can just dedicate to the stick at this point. It's a bit of a nightmare. Malsey tries to get through to see if there's anybody there. He gets body blocked. I like the fact that you have Na'Vi playing on each of these corners to stop anybody from London United actually peeking out and having everybody line up and get this. I mean, look at these two. It was a pretty torrid round from London United, but I'm definitely on the side that Na'Vi played that to a T. EMEA is mad, guys. You should watch it more. In case any of you forgot, Pora, previously from Heretics, Supermassive Blaze, and now on BBL, is still a bit of a fire A. Is that how you say it? In any case, he gets caught in holes from Guild, a lot of utility thrown out to try and scare him away, make him back up his position. But Pora has an idea here. He throws this classic down the chute to trigger the noise. Guild think that Pora's actually just panicked and jumped out of the space, and because they don't have mid control, they just assume that Pora is no longer in holes. You can tell from the fact that both the Guild players start to look towards the A main choke, especially as the Aldron comes in from BBL's side. They kind of have check-in, especially on the side of their Poison Cloud that they've put in mid. But Pora still finds the timing, finds an opening, finds a 2k, and yeah, just in case you forgot how good this player can be. Here's another bait player that comes in from Fnatic. Because of the low buy that G2 has, they kind of have to respect any main executor Fnatic come in with. The Astra ult gets dedicated onto the A site, but the thing that really sells it is the fact that the KO, who's usually going to be with the team in a lot of these instances, you don't usually have a KO lurking on his own, or certainly not baiting a rotate on his own. He's throwing in all of his utility. Boaster's going ham, throwing in his 0 point. his flashes, and his fragment, alongside the Astra ult and a couple of those other smokes thrown in, it means that all of G2 have to respect this. They go in, and Fnatic, knowing how scary G2 could be on these retakes, they still dedicate the Viper's Pit, and it frankly wins them the round in this case as well. Lots of stuff dedicated from Fnatic, but they found themselves an open site against G2. Back over to Ascend versus Supermassive Blaze. Izzy tried to take this space and hold on to Showers on the defense is an important factor, and you'll see a lot of Razors do this. However, Ascend are very happy to try and punish it. They have the orbital striker to throw in behind Izzy, knowing that he's going to be forced to play into deep Showers. CNED throws in a couple of slow orbs to make things a little worse for Izzy, and then the paint shells instantly catch onto him that are thrown in from Zeke. Nice aggressive space control, and punishing the fact that Izzy is more on the aggressive side wants to face, and Ascend are happy to bully that as much as possible. And finally, there's no set play here. This was just fucking stupid from Trent. I can't believe that somebody can do this. Like, he's if you have any other clips that I missed, let me know. I don't think they're going to be better than this 3K, but yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. More for next week. Bye.